Welcome back with me Boost to one more video I want to do today on Eternnal. This is another deck that I've been playing around with for a while. This one I've actually made a bit ago. But it's a Relic weapon deck. And I haven't actually seen anyone playing any of these. I only run into one Relic weapon deck my entire time playing this game. And it was a proper all-in-one. It was literally, it had no units except Auric Reclaimer, which it had like a million of. And it just made one massive weapon and kept bringing it back with Auric Reclaimer and Reforge and all that. This deck is a little bit less on all-in than that, because I think that's a bit too much, but it's still very much a Relic weapon deck. Quite simply, you get your Relic weapon, you buff it up with cards like Illicit Armament, and give it armor with things like Soaring Guard, and all that, and Streetwise Informant and stuff. You maybe give yourself quick draw with Gunrunner so that your weapons don't break. And if they get destroyed, you use Reforge to bring them back, or maybe Smuggler's Stash. This deck is kind of like a control deck, I'd say, is the closest thing it is to, because it does get a lot of value over a long time, and it can control the board, because, well, Relic weapons can do that. One important change I just had to note I've made to this deck, and I haven't tested it since I've made this change, is that I used to run 2 improvised rubbers, but I already run 2 improvised clubs, and while this deck does want big value, so that wasn't too much, the reason I got rid of them is because I kind of realised that the size of the Relic weapon doesn't matter so much most of the time, because the buffs become more significant if the weapon started out small, and of course this is about buffing things. So in replacement, I put in another Sea Cancers and another Seek Power. In fact, I don't have 4 Reforges in this deck. I probably should, so I'm going to get rid of the Seek Power and get another Reforge. Because I think I have a 4th one, yeah I do. There we go. That's probably the best version of the deck. So yeah, there's a couple cards in here that may seem a bit out of place, but let me just quickly explain them. Jekk is just a nice control card. It's kind of weird, because I like this card, but it doesn't really fit into a lot of decks usually, because Justice Fire should usually be either being super aggressive and winning really early on, or mid-rangey and winning in the mid-game. And this can be the very top end of your mid-range plan, but it's a bit of a control card unless it's stunning a unit that lets you win the game, like by, creating an opening. So, it rarely sees play, but here is actually a Fire Justice deck that has control aspects, so you can run Jekk as a control card. Brel's a nice way to buff things. This is just a legendary I open in a pack, and it's one of the reasons I was inspired to make this deck. Harsh Rule is just a great control card, and we want to use Harsh Rules to keep our Relic weapons alive if they have too many units that could break them. Unwavering Exorcist is because sometimes we will get a nice big unit down and they will just permafrost it, and we don't want that. And sometimes we'll be hit by a Black Iron Manacles, or a Urn of Choking Embers, or a Profane Sensor, or some other cursed relic we just don't want to deal with, and this will kill it. So yeah, just a way to get rid of curse. And also, we do have... Oh no, I thought we had Shadow Amethyst Waystone. Is it Amethyst? I don't know. Yeah, I thought we had Amethyst Waystones in this deck, but I guess we don't. Never mind. I was gonna say those that would make it night, and this obviously would negate night damage, but whatever. It's a 2-drop, and you just kind of want a 2-drop. Sea Cancers and Seek Powers for consistency. Shakedown's very useful because it beats combo decks and aggro and tempo decks especially by ruining their curve or ruining their combo. And this deck only really loses to aggro and sometimes combo. So, having it only not be great against control decks when this tends to beat other control decks means that it doesn't matter. And in our market, we have... Oh, if you're wondering why I'm only running 3 merchants instead of 4, it's just because I don't own a 4th one and I don't want to craft it. I would recommend running 4 Hidden Road Smugglers if you have 4. The market has 1 token of ambition just because there's some cards that require a lot of influence that are in this deck, and it's a triple faction deck, so that makes them kind of hard to meet the influence requirements. This deck is actually running 2 Desecrates. They're just that good. Even though they self-damage, which has anti-synergy with the Relic weapons, and they require more influence, which has anti-synergy with the fact that this is a 3-faction deck, they're still good enough to sneak 2 in. And there's also Gunrunner. Sometimes you don't have enough fire influence for it, and it requires 2. Auric Reclaimer. I originally had 4 of these just in the deck and not in the market, but I actually rarely found them useful, so I decided to put them in the market. I still have not been able to use them, which I was surprised by, because in the other Relic weapon deck they were really, really good. But that might be just due to the way it was built. Rampart Arbalist, just have a Relic weapon in your market. Unbreakable Alliance. I opened this card, so I decided to mess around with it. I don't actually think this is good. I think this is a meme, but I mean, I have it now. I want to try it before I get rid of it. Amar's Chains is just always a good thing to have in your market to end the game if you get loads of power, but you can't actually kill your opponent. You do need to have units on the board, but you do get the insta-kill off from playing power cards, which is nice too. So anyway, let's get into a game. Street Urchin was also in the deck. That's just because it's a really good 1-drop, and if we don't get the cards we want, we can try and steal a card from the opponent's deck we might want. Especially if we steal a power card. You know, this deck has some expensive cards, so, you know, it wants power. Well, we have one of every influence. That is nice. I think we keep this. I was kind of thinking no, but I think the main reason I was thinking that was just because we wouldn't be able to get Emerald Waystone for value, and we don't really need to get Emerald Waystone for value. Signal Flare would have been really annoying, so we're glad we did that, because it would have destroyed our Sword of Icaria. Oh yeah, Emerald Waystone. I usually think Emerald Waystone is like basically like the weakest Waystone. But here, well, it's good, because... Well, I think it's self-explanatory, you know, because it gives you armor, and relic weapons like having armor. Oh, that's perfect. Smack. And we get to keep our weapon. Smack. Why am I saying smack? The deck's called bonk. So I should say bonk. I know it's not very obvious because there's many ways that the bonk could originate from, but I meant it as a reference to Scout from TF2, even though I don't play TF2. Not because I think it's bad or anything, but just because I can't get my PC to actually run it because, well, I say PC, my laptop, because I do not have access to good equipment. Could you tell that? Okay, so that does kind of suck, but I do think it's worth it, considering we have Reforges, we have Smuggler stash right here, we're dropping Jekk next turn, we'll have Improvised Club in the future. I think that's completely fine to do. Oh, it is called Eclipse Dragon, and also it is an Eclipse Dragon. I was just saying that because in an early video I was talking about this card and I wasn't sure if it was called Eclipse Dragon. I was pretty sure it was. Okay, so he's probably going to hit me with a torch or something. Oh! Okay, not complaining. I really thought he'd have a fast spell that would destroy my relic weapon, but apparently not. I guess a 5/4 flying charge quick draw is just 5/4 flying charge quick draw is just good enough. So I guess that's why I just played it out. Maybe he has another one. Oh, I don't see that card very often, even though I think it's not too bad. Oh wow, another Sword of Icaria. That's pretty nice. It does feel a bit weird, but I think I actually don't play anything, because we don't have many cards, but the cards we have big value if we save them, so let's get that big value. Also, we're drawing all our Swords of Icaria, and I'm not complaining about that, because that's basically the best relic weapon in this deck. Maybe the best relic weapon in the game, if we're not counting legendaries. Maybe even if we are counting legendaries, but I don't know all the relic weapons in the game, I don't think. Wow. This was not a favourable matchup for this guy. And this is ranked, by the way, you would have seen earlier, so this isn't just like, oh, ooh, I don't like this card. Yikes, that card's just frustrating to deal with. But I imagine I'm being very frustrating to deal with at the moment, so, you know, it's alright. So, is this guy just kind of going to die? Because it's looking like that's what's going to happen. It's looking like this guy's not going to play anything, and then he's going to die. Oh, no, he's going to live. I was not expecting that. What a twist. Didn't think you'd want to live. Well, I think this is just the best play. Like, it's not exactly exciting or anything, but I mean, that's just very efficient. We've still got all these cards. We still got our relic weapon. You can't break it because this has endurance, so it gets to block. He needs to use one of his spells if he wants to. It has endurance. No, it has endurance. Unless he did that on purpose, just because with knowing it had endurance, just to get the flame fang and give this +1 attack. I don't know. Maybe he did. Oh, he gets close, but he doesn't break it. Spoiler alert.
It's your unlucky day.
Whoa, frame rate just dropped all of a sudden. Well, I think I better end this video before my tablet crashes. That was very strange and I'm very scared. Bye.